Hello, my name is Eddie, the brains behind the blog known as Wichita by EB, and I'd like to welcome you to the Eddytorial, a podcast or safe space of sorts to share opinions with other different guests on a wide variety of topics that may spark your interest or lead you to find another podcast. Whether it's interviews, top 10 lists, 30 minutes of mindless banter, this is the Eddytorial.
There's plenty to talk about and plenty to do, so get the gossip, get the scoop, and tune right into the editorial to keep you in the loop. It's the Eddytorial, a Wichita by EB podcast.
Welcome to the latest edition of the Eddytorial. We are live here at the podcast room in downtown Wichita, owned by Trust Media Studios. It's a great little space. If you ever have a podcast need, check them out. You can also check them out on Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff at the Podcast Room Wichita. All right. So with that set aside, our special guest for today, well, first off, our guest host today is the Kansas Gastronomist.
What's going on, Eddie?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well,
Okay.
Thank you.
Now let's make way for our special guest today. She has been a content creator and collector in anime since roughly 2019.
I'm going to have to correct you there. I've
All right.
actually been collecting seriously since 2006, but officially content creation started in 2019.
You're going to be correcting me a lot today then.
That's
'cause
all
This
right.
is a world that's new to me. I'm new-ish, but her name is Brooke, also known as Ochibawolf on the
You
socials.
got it.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank
all
you
right.
so much.
Ochibawolf.
All right.
Love that.
Brooke,
You
do you want
got
to give an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, my name is Brooke. First of all, thank you so much, Eddie, for having me on here. It's so crazy. I would never, ever picture myself in Wichita by EB's podcast studio.
Here you are.
So I feel super honored that you reached out. But what I do is I am a huge anime fan, mainly Sailor Moon. That's like what started it all. If anybody out there remembers, it was a Japanese animation back in the 90s. And it's going through its 30th anniversary now. And I don't know, I've put my passion and my love for that anime series online with video content of what I personally own in my collection, and also just talking about the series, how it's changed me, how it's brought a lot of friendships. And so I just create video content surrounding that and my other collections. I also collect like Pokémon, Disney, other anime like Spy Family, Demon Slayer, etc.
So you said you've been collecting since
2006,
2006.
right out of high school.
At what point did you start like this social page?
So, okay, in the beginning, right around those times, social media was just, kicking off. I think
Sure.
Twitter was like the main one back
Yep.
then. Like we didn't have, Instagram yet. We didn't have TikTok and all of that. So I did create a Twitter, I think around in 2009, just kind of, putting out their little blips of Sailor Moon stuff and, just showing my passion, and then it just kept growing from there. It was like just a hobby at that time. I was actually in college at the time, studying for graphic design. And yeah, it just was, I just connected with other fans of the show just through those socials that I had at the time.
So how big exactly is this like anime world? Like how many followers? How big is the industry? Do you have any idea?
Oh my gosh, it's huge now. And that's the thing. I know we were kind of pinpointing on this before we actually started recording, but anime when I was a kid was not cool. And so it was really hard to like make friends during that time with other people that were into anime. I went to Southeast High School, if anybody remembers that
The
school.
old- was it the old one? Okay.
Yeah, before it moved
The
out there and got
OG,
all
yeah.
fancy dancy. But yeah, it was class of 06, and gosh, there's only a handful of people that I met that, actually liked anime. So we felt, like outcasts, and that's fine. And now today, I want to say anime really blew up when Pokémon Go came around. If you guys remember
Interesting.
Pokémon Go,
Yeah.
I remember I was working I had a regular corporate job. I actually worked for Verizon Indirect here in Old Town. We managed a whole bunch of stores. It was just what I like to call a normal job. And the CEO and CFO were playing Pokemon Go. And I was like the only person out of this office space of 14 people that was into anime, that knew what it was. And I was just like, these people that clearly know nothing about it are in this. This is bizarre. Everybody was playing Pokemon Go, even if you weren't a Pokemon fan.
Got into the mainstream.
Yeah, do you remember that big
yeah.
just surge of
People
everybody
walking
was
around downtown, down the river.
Yeah.
It was insane. I remember one night I was going to get some like late night Wendy's, and this was like at Douglas and Rock, and there were probably 50 or 60 kids outside the Wendy's like, swiping their
Seriously?
phones. And I guess they're.
Wow.
I walked outside. I was like, "What's going on here today or tonight?" And they go, "Oh, yeah, there's like some battle campaign drop. I don't know what it is." My youngest brother was huge into Pokemon Go, and he told me what was going on, and over my head, but.
Is that still going on now?
Oh yeah, it's still going on. I remember at the time Pokemon Go blew up in popularity. I was kind of against it at the time because of all these people that I knew, made fun of me for liking this back in the day.
Yeah.
I played the OG Pokemon games on the Game Boy, okay? And that wasn't cool then. And now all of a sudden all these people who, talk so much smack on it is now
Sure.
out there playing this game, and I was just like, what world am I living in? But I really have to give Pokemon Go some credit because it really did, I think, broaden the horizons for a lot of people, especially in the United States, to anime, because Pokemon is an anime as well. So I really do believe that the popularity began when Pokemon Go.
Did you ever play Pokemon or any of these games?
I
Did you?
never.
Never?
I watched. It started as a show, right?
I think originally it was a game.
It was a game first.
Yes.
Well, you would know better than I.
Well, the thing is, I don't actually remember if the game came first or the show, but there is a game, a manga, and an anime show now.
So some of this conversation's reminding me of childhood, and was it the case that the only channel you could really watch anime on back in the day was Cartoon Network?
Yes. Do you remember Toonami?
Yes,
Yes.
Toonami. I
Yes.
forgot about that.
That is my origin story of how I discovered. Well, Sailor Moon was originally on a different channel, but it eventually made it to Toonami, and there was shows like, if you guys remember, Dragon Ball
Dragon
Z,
Ball Z. Oh,
Tenchi
that was so
Muyo,
popular.
Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
That is my time.
Yeah, I never watched those shows. My brother's huge into that Dragon Ball Z stuff. I remember like going back to my parents' house and like seeing like the posters and stuff like that
Yes.
there. And my experience like Pokemon was, I never played the game, but I played Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
So they had characters like Kirby and
Yep, and that
Okay,
also came out of Japan. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of in the same,
yeah. So I was like,
group.
So what year would that have been, or approximately how old were you when
Oh gosh.
you
Okay.
started watching Sailor Moon and it?
Well, Sailor Moon originally aired in North America in 1995.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure I was watching it then. So I was like
Okay.
6 or 7 or at that point. And then it was just game over ever since. Like I was a fan ever since.
Did you have siblings or family that
Yes.
was into it? Or
I was the one who originally was in it. My sister. I also have a sister. We're the only two. And I got her into it because she was 2 years younger than me. So
Okay.
because her cool older sister
Oh, yeah.
watched it, she got into it. But
Sure.
she's not into it at all anymore. But it's crazy because my parents and family at the time, especially as I got older and into middle school and into high school, and I was still into this, they didn't really understand it. That I was still into cartoons at this age.
Sure.
And now, it's my full-time job. I became a business in 2022, and it's paying the bills, and
Awesome.
it's cool now, and everybody is just so proud, and it's just wild to me. Life as a journey is wild, and you never know where it's going to take you.
kind of going back to things. So your handle is Ochibawolf.
Yes, it is.
What's the origination of that?
I kind of figured you might ask
Yeah.
that. How many of you guys, like when you first got an email account, when you first were online, you just had a weird name, and it
I
just kind of
100% did.
stuck with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Mine didn't stick though.
Well, I will say, originally when I was growing up, I wanted to be a comic book artist. So I had these wolf characters.
Okay.
And they were, kind of think about, the Lion King style, but think of it as wolves.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to work for Disney or do something like that. So, and all of that. And I created them in middle school, and into high school, I was known as the girl who drew wolves. And so Ochiba is a wolf character of mine that I just created my username from.
Okay, my guess was this was gonna be a character from a show or something like
No,
that.
this is
so
actually a personal character, very dear to my heart. But
Yeah.
I'm not into drawing anymore. I actually gave up my art and got into content creation instead.
Who was your? Do you have any favorite comic book designers growing up, like a Stan Lee or Todd McFarlane, or is it Scott McFarlane or Todd McFarlane? He did Spawn.
Yeah.
Ooh, I wouldn't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't know that. I'm not super deep into those fandoms. No, it was mostly more like independent artists
Okay.
that like publish their own works online that, people may not know of that I
Yeah.
was more inspired by. I don't know if you guys remember, and it's still around today. There's a website where any artist can upload their stuff called DeviantArt. And I was really prevalent on that community back then. And there was a lot of great artists there and still is today. that I really looked up to and loved.
Okay. So you started your page, and at what point, you do this full time now?
I do. I do this full time.
At what point was that turning point? Like, what was that light bulb that went off? Like, I can do this full time now.
Well, it does go back to that job that I mentioned earlier. I did work, a regular 9-to-5 job for almost 7 years, and they ended up selling the company to out of state, and so they laid off the entire corporate office here in Wichita, Kansas. And at the time, I would say I had a pretty good following on Twitter. I had a good following on Instagram at the time. It wasn't anything, huge. It was like 10,000 or less at the time. But I was, in 2019, that's kind of when content creation kind of had a boom.
Yeah.
That actually became a thing that people can actually say is their job,
Sure.
So I was talking to my husband. I was like, I'm getting laid off. I'm getting this severance package. What about if I use this time while I have, a little bit of money to float me, if I can start my YouTube channel? I would love to get into creating videos and content. And this is a thing for people. People are actually, making money doing this. And I've got a passion for it. Let me give it a try. And my husband was so supportive. Shout out to Kurt, #Kurt's crew. And we live stream, and my streaming fam gave him a hashtag. But he was so supportive of it. And that was really the turning point. I spent that first year in 2019 really learning how to video edit and finding the software that I need to make content.
That's excellent. I've got a sidebar question for you. You're wearing a hat, not a baseball cap, but a cap.
Yeah.
You're wearing a blouse. Is this something you sell?
No. This is actually Sailor Moon, the anime.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because you do
Come
sell
on, TKG.
you do sell some different
No, actually, I don't.
clothing.
I don't sell any clothing. I don't have any of my
Okay.
own merchandise. But because I'm a collector and I've been collecting for so long, I have bought and sold some of the things that I just kind of lose interest in, or I don't think I need it, or I need to free up some space. So I do occasionally sell like my collectibles that I don't want anymore. And I don't know if you guys know, or the people that are listening, I have an entire room filled, like it's probably the size of this room, if not bigger, wall to wall, and a ton of stuff on the floor of collectibles.
Wow.
And you sell some of these things at events around town.
It's going to be my first time.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, if I can just kind of, I don't know how fast you edit these podcasts, but on the 14th of this month, a place called Mo Pig's Collectibles. And I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but it's
over on West Street?
Yes,
Yeah,
in the
I've
old
been-
Game Exchange building.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yes. So they're basically like a pawn shop for toys and collectibles. And I'm actually friends with the owner's wife. And
Okay.
I've attended some of their like backyard bonanzas that they do, where they just it's really cheap. It's like $5 or $10 if you want to have a little space there, and they invite other people just to come and sell some stuff, whether you're an actual retailer or if you're just a collector that just has some extra stuff. So I'm going to be there for the first time.
Where's the event going to be at? Mopig's behind the building?
Yes,
or?
yes,
Okay.
in the parking lot,
Okay.
actually,
Oh, in
behind the
front.
building.
Okay.
Yep. Well, not
You
in
ever
front,
been
in the
there?
back.
Okay. You ever been there before? Remember the old Game Exchange on West Street?
Yeah.
And they still have the old Game Exchange sign, so
Yeah.
it's really easy to see.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you said it was on the 14th. Did you say what time it would?
Yes, I actually do have the time. It's going to be Sunday, April 14th, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m.
11 to
I think
6.
this should be out before then. We'll work on it. I'll talk to Troy.
If
and-
not,
yeah,
they
it will
do
be.
have 2 a year.
Yeah.
So this is their spring one. They will also have one in the fall, and I should be able to return to the next one too. But I've got a lot of stuff, and all of my stuff I keep in pristine condition. I'm kind of like one of those mint in box collectors.
Yeah.
So all of my stuff is like brand new.
So when you say stuff, what exactly is stuff?
Stuff would be, I have a huge, I just have a little bit of everything. If you have ever heard of Fig Pens,
Yep.
I've worked with Fig Pen a lot at the company. So I have a lot of those that I'm selling. I've got a lot of, I get sponsored by subscription boxes a lot.
Yeah,
So
I saw
got,
that. Yeah.
Yes, like there's
The
this
unboxing videos.
Yes, they're like cute stuff like Sanrio, Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So I've got some of that. I also have a lot of my personal collection that I'm also selling that I just am freeing up space because I do have a lot of stuff like Sailor Moon. If you guys are a big Sailor Moon fan, you definitely got to come out and buy some of my stuff.
So
Go on.
I was just going to say, so can you explain to the listeners that, and maybe me, that do not understand Sailor Moon, can you explain what is Sailor Moon? Like, what is it about?
Sailor Moon is a magical girl anime, meaning it's basically, if you can think of like superheroes, she's a superhero. She's a 14-year-old girl who runs into a talking cat who tells her that she is a superhero called Sailor Moon, gives her magical powers. She gives her a magical brooch to transform, and she basically fights the forces of evil.
Okay.
And she collects the other Sailor Guardians. They create a team, and that's the basis. There, it's a huge show.
Kind of like Captain Universe? Remember, like they combine the powers and then they turn into like something.
Captain
bigger?
Planet.
Captain Planet. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Oh man, that
yes.
brings me back. I loved Captain Planet.
You
back in
did
the
too?
day.
Oh yes.
He's the hero.
Oh yeah.
Gonna take
So
pollution down.
one thing I need to ask: Hello Kitty. It's blown up in the last year or two.
Oh
Like,
yes, Sanrio Hello Kitty huge.
What caused that? Because we have a 20-year-old, and she is big into collecting all Hello Kitty stuff. She'll go to like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, like every day to go find like.
Does she
blankets.
know K-pop stop and anime?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a big one. They get all the good Korean
She
stuff.
has now. It's like toilet bowl cleaner with a Hello Kitty face on it.
Hello Kitty has
It's-
everything.
It's everything.
Everything.
Cups. It's insanity.
I have a Hello Kitty spatula that I freaking love.
So why did it come back? Like, where did that start?
I feel like it just has to all go back. I feel like, when Pokemon Go came out, it just everybody just got more into it. And I don't know, anime is huge now. Have you guys heard of titles like Demon Slayer, Attack on
I
Titan?
heard about it the first time the other day.
Yeah, so did I. Literally.
See? So that's how big it
Yeah.
is. It reached people who are not in those communities, and you guys actually have heard the name. It's huge now.
Actually been to K-pop. So when I was just doing food blogging, I stopped in the K-pop store because like my brother's big into anime and I have a niece that was into it. So like, I'll just go check this place out. And while I was there, I started taking pictures of the place, sent it to my brother. I'm like, hey, you should check this place out. And then the next day I was like, let's just make this a blog. So I made a blog. Here's some pictures of the place. Here's what they sell. Here's the hours. And it just like caught fire.
Yeah.
And the owner of the store reached out to me the next week.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, super nice lady. She goes, I just want to thank you. We had such an influx of customers come in, and they said it was because of your blog. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, because I had no intention of doing whatever. I just went in and wrote about it, and boom.
Every time I go in there, it's popping. I'm not kidding. Like you
Well,
have to, and it's a smaller
store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can barely walk in there because there's so many people. I usually go on the weekends though, when traffic's a little higher. But
So can you buy like the toilet bowl cleaner there and that? I mean,
I think she
anything
got it
and
at TJ
everything?
Maxx. I think she got it at TJ Maxx
Okay.
or Marshall's.
there's so much merchandise out there. I mean, you probably can't pinpoint it to one thing at K-pop stop and anime.
So I was looking at your Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple times over the last week or whatever.
Doing your research
Doing
on
my
your guest.
research.
Absolutely.
And there is Sailor Moon toilet paper.
Oh yeah, there's Sailor Moon pads. There's
Yeah.
Sailor Moon condoms.
Oh,
there's
wow.
Sailor Moon everything. Okay, and I have it all.
Oh, that's hilarious.
My question I was going to ask also was like, I was Googling Sailor Moon, and it said it was like a Japanese manga.
It was a manga first.
manga? Okay.
Yes. It was written by Naoko Takeuchi, and it was first published in 1991 in a compilation, like comic book thing called Nakayoshi in Japan.
So what exactly is manga? Because my first guess, I was
Just
like, is
Japanese
it-
comics.
Okay, because I thought it was like a female mango.
Yeah,
First.
yeah.
You get it?
That's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
That's cute.
But no idea what it was. I was like,
It's
manga,
just what they
anime.
call their comics. Yeah.
Okay. It's like
Yeah.
a square rectangle type correlation.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's segue into another event. I saw in the news earlier this week that you're going to be hosting or co-hosting
Yep.
an event.
Yep.
What's that?
So Anime Kansas is actually rebranded. It was actually here last year.
Was it the Wichita Anime Festival or something like that?
No, that's a whole entire different one. But it was formerly called ShockerCon, and the first time that they came here was last September. And I went, and it was just like on a whim. It was super cheap. I think it was only like $10 for the day. And anime is the convention type people. They're my people, so I went, and a lot of my other local friends were going too.
Sure.
And I did some content, just kind of a short form video, just like, hey, this is where I'm at today. Posted it. And they reached out, really liked the video, and wanted to work with me for their new convention. They said that they are going to come back 5 times bigger, and they're going to be at Century 2 this time. The last time it was across the street from Eastgate.
Okay.
At the
Hotel?
yeah. Was that Holiday Inn? I can't remember which one it is, but that's where it was the last time. Super small, but they want to come back 5 times bigger at Century 2. And they are going to be having celebrity guests announced soon. And they're also going to have cosplay guests that should be announced, trickling through closer to that we get to the convention. And that is going to be, it's a 2-day event, Saturday and Sunday only, September 14th through 15th.
Okay.
ShockerCon seems like a weird name for a anime fest.
Yeah,
Deal.
it's
especially
not-
in Wichita of all places.
Yeah, it seems like they thought so as well, and they're going to change the name and just rebrand a bit. But you can get tickets now, but I think that you can get them at selectaseat.com, I think, but they're still working through, I mean, it's still brand new, and they're, still going through the steps of like rebranding, so we'll get more information the closer.
So who is they? Like, is this some sort of national organization that has chapters, different places?
From what I understand, it's a group of people that do these conventions called Super Anime Fest. I don't know all of them personally, but I've been in talks with the guy Jeff as the one that is my contact.
Okay.
But it's just a group of it's just this group that produces these anime conventions.
Now, is there a local a Wichita anime group?
There's lots of them. There's like cosplay ones. You guys know what cosplay
Yes,
is, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. We've got like local cosplaying groups. I'm not familiar with any like local anime specific groups, but like anime and cosplay go hand in hand.
Sure.
A lot of times.
Cosplay the same thing as LARPing? Is that separate?
Oh my gosh, it is separate. I would say, because LARPing's more like role playing, right?
Yeah.
Where you're, battling.
Yeah,
it
LARPing
out.
is?
Yeah, you know.
I remember I was at.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what is that word? LARPing.
It's like what medieval times,
Yeah.
where they're like,
Okay.
battling each other in
That's
their
LARPing,
armor.
There was a
Okay.
movie that had a bunch of LARPing in it. It was a
Yeah.
comedy, and I'll have to look at
Monty
it.
Python?
No,
No.
this is like a recent one.
Okay.
Until I looked that up, so I posted about the Anime Kansas event, and someone mentioned, is there any chance Demon Dice will perform? What is Demon Dice? And
I need to look that up. I have no clue who that is, but it sounds, I did see that comment, and I saw someone reply and saying, oh, I don't think they could get them. So it sounds like it's probably someone super popular.
Sure.
But I don't know who they are personally.
the movie was Role Models with Paul Rudd. There was a LARPing scene in there.
Oh, yes. I know
Where
exactly
the kid
scene
from
you're-
Superbad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. I know.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. Absolutely. So there's the cosplay organization here in town.
Yes, there's a few of them, and I'm not like super into those groups, but I am friends with local people who are in those, so
Okay.
I'm kind of aware of that.
So you mentioned that Twitter was your first social media.
It was
I
my
think.
first, yeah, it was, I mean, I was on like forums, like, I don't know if you guys remember LiveJournal, but Twitter was my main first one, and then I think Facebook, I can't remember which came first, Facebook or Twitter.
came before, or no, I don't know. I do know Instagram started like in 2010.
Yes, Instagram was a little later. And
Facebook
I
was 2004, and I have reason to remember that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It started off. You had to have
College
couple
count.
universities.
Yeah.
Then it extended to all universities,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah,
But-
I just had something pop up on my Facebook. You know how like a little post will come up like this happened 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I had one pop up of a screenshot that I had posted of my Twitter 7 years ago, and I had hit 7,000 followers, and now I'm almost to 60,000
on X.
on
Twitter.
X. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm
No,
so
no,
used to
I'm
calling
just-
it Twitter, but I should
Yeah.
be calling it X, even though their URL is still twitter.com.
Is that right? I see. I don't have Twitter. I got rid of it years ago.
They're trying to rebrand it to X, but their URL is still twitter.com.
Sure.
I mean, it's like if Facebook ever officially changed like Meta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It'd be-
because now
it'd be-
they're
yeah,
they're
that-
Facebook and Instagram.
It would take a decade.
Yeah.
New
Two
generation.
generations to get over it.
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of the content you've been pushing has been centered around like your collection, the whole anime thing, but you've been diving in. I've been seeing you at some restaurants and whatnot, putting out that content as well.
We do have a little crossover, and I can
Yeah.
relate to a lot of what you do. But
Yeah.
man, you are the man, because I need someone that knows all the Wichita happenings, since I work all the time. But I do enjoy as
fun.
at the very basis of it. I love creating videos.
Yeah.
And if I am going to go to a place and it's like really cool and I'm having a good time, sometimes I'll be like, you know what? I want to just kind of film this and make a little short form video
Sure.
about it, and I'm not like going to, dive into full blown food blogger.
You
but
might love it.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I'm not a big video guy. I make videos. I'm not a big fan of it. It's not my passion. Mine
Yeah.
is writing. But to evolve, I think I had to make videos.
Absolutely.
And the videos I like to do, like if I take my daughter to the zoo, I'll make a little video because it's fun. And
yeah.
one, I have that memory keepsake for later in life as well.
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like if you love the food stuff, continue doing it more because it's a blast. And those restaurants could always use anybody to, create more content for
Oh,
them.
absolutely. And I do like to sprinkle a little bit of different things in. Like, I want to be well-rounded. I can't grow just as a Sailor Moon content creator. It's just not that big enough, So, and I'm into a whole bunch of other things. I'm not just defined by my love for Sailor Moon, even though it's my number one. But yeah, I just have a passion for like video editing and just creating that kind of stuff.
Well,
So
you brought up Disney before, and,
Yes,
and
huge
I
Disney
saw
person too.
you have a few different posts about VHS tapes
Yes.
and Disney.
yes, I came from that time.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier Lion King, and I noticed that Lion King was the first movie in the front of something that was on your video. So you
Yes.
must be a Lion King fan.
Oh, a huge Lion King fan. That like
Okay.
inspired my whole, art style back in the day. Like, I really wanted to make a wolf movie that looked like the Lion
Is
King.
that the GOAT Disney movie for you?
Yeah, that's my number one. Yeah, the Lion King.
What's yours, TKG? I had this conversation at home with my family.
I've never been asked that before. I mean, I love the Lion King. I mean, it's got a great message.
Top five.
Classic.
It's top five for me.
What else is in your top five?
My top two are probably the original versions, either Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin.
Yes.
I was thinking about Aladdin.
Good ones.
Yeah.
Classics.
No, I'm not a Beauty and the Beast guy. I don't know.
You don't like love stories?
I don't like Snow White either. I don't like Sleeping
You don't
Beauty
like
either.
romance? You know, like people falling in love?
I mean, I
Are
want
you
people
jealous that Beast got the girl?
Yeah.
Because Beast was hot.
Yeah.
big
You
dude.
would say that as an anime person. Yeah.
I would. I've got a lot of cartoon crushes.
Yeah. Who would name another cartoon crush you got?
Oh my gosh, this will bring you guys back. Did you guys ever watch Gundam Wing? My first
Heard of it.
My
think
first
so.
anime crush was Hiro Yui from Gundam Wing. Look it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
He was fine.
Yeah. Do you have a cartoon crush, Eddie?
Cartoon crush. Let me think. I mean, I'm older, so like, I remember like being a kid. One thing I didn't understand the fascination with olive oil. Is that her name?
Oh,
From
yeah, for
Popeye?
Popeye.
I'm like, come on, Popeye. You knew who
I
olive
had
oil
to
was?
think about that. I was like olive oil, but when you said Popeye, I'm like, oh.
Short black haired lady.
Yeah,
So are
yeah.
you saying you're kind of into olive oil?
I'm
now?
not.
Oh,
I'm not.
okay.
I just don't.
I
I
didn't
don't
know
get the
where we were
fascination
going.
with that one. I was like, why does everybody love olive oil?
And Betty Boop. People like Betty Boop, right?
Betty
Like,
Boop.
I don't know if I can picture. Oh, I can
Yeah,
picture-
yeah.
Yeah,
can.
that was another old school one. Yeah.
Probably maybe Jessica Rabbit
Oh yeah.
Jessica Rabbit.
from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
I need to revisit that one. I remember my husband loved that one.
Was that a Disney movie? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
no way it was.
They might own it now though, because they're owning a lot of things now.
Well, Roger Rabbit wasn't he a Disney character or not?
No, they made fun of a lot of, I think, Disney stuff. Like, because it was part
Okay.
of the cartoon thing. Gosh, it's been so long since I've seen it, but you could tell there were some definite like Disney references
Sure.
in that movie.
So you actually have a VHS player?
No, but that is something that I'm actually actively looking
searching?
for. They are so hard to find.
Really?
You can look for them on eBay, and almost every single one. Especially, I'm actually looking for the all-in-one units, the TV and the VCR,
Yeah.
and everyone that you find
Like
on
in
eBay.
school?
Yes, and everyone you find, they're like VHR player not working, VHR player not working, and I just don't know if we can figure out how to work it. So I'm gonna have.
I mean, we've got a podcast going out soon, so
Does anybody
Yeah.
have a VHS? We moved not too long ago, and I had a VHS player, a VCR, whatever you call it, and we got rid of it.
oh my gosh!
But
yeah,
was it
definitely.
the all-in-one that she's,
Oh, no.
she's needing?
Yeah, the one with the TV in it.
Well,
Those
I
are
know
so
what you're
cute to
talking
play
about.
the
The
older
city-
games consoles on.
Yeah.
Wichita Public Schools just closed 5 schools, so
They probably have
they
some
might
in
have some stuff lying
storage.
around.
Definitely have to look. I want to start looking at some of the antique markets and pawn shops here in town. Maybe I'll get lucky.
So
Yeah.
back to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Okay.
Walt Disney purchased the film rights in 1981 and
Who'da thought?
released it through Disney's Touchstone Pictures banner in the U.S.
Bam.
You're 80% right because it's technically Touchstone in my book. But no, that was a good film.
You're usually right, and I'm usually wrong. So me being 80% right, that's like 100% for me.
was like the 80-20 principle.
Yeah.
The Pareto principle.
We're 20% of people do 80% of the work. Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that's the one thing I remember from school.
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay, so what else is coming up for you this year? So you have the Anime Kansas event.
Oh yes, actually, I just
Mopigs.
started hosting last year, so
Okay.
this is kind of new for me. My first hosting gig, I kind of put it on my social media that I want to get into that. I'm kind of a person that kind of sometimes gets bored if I'm just too stagnant, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to challenge myself and try something else. And so, you know, I kind of put it out there. I wanted to start hosting, and I actually got hired for an anime convention in Kansas City called Planet Anime.
Oh,
and,
wow.
When's that one?
What?
When's that one?
That one was in October last year. Yeah, it was in October last year, and they wanted me to host and moderate a celebrity voice actor panel.
Oh, wow.
And that was my first time, and they recorded it, and, you know, the lights were there, and the feedback I got was great. They thought that I was a natural, and they didn't even think that it was my first time. So that kind of like made me feel good and
Yeah, sure.
validated. So
Yeah,
I wanted to, you
the
know.
confirmation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So I'm just-
celebrity voice, so somebody that does the voice in
Yes.
whatever
Yes.
anime cartoon
Yes.
or something.
Yes,
Okay.
celebrity voice actors are huge, especially because anime's huge now.
Sure.
So, you know, I waited 4 hours to get Bryce Papenbrook's autograph at an anime convention. He voices Inosuke from Demon Slayer.
Oh,
and it was just crazy, like how popular these people are. The
4
lines are
hours,
just
huh?
4 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're just huge now, you know, and they're worshipped in a way.
My 3 favorite voice actors. I'm gonna name the 3.
Okay.
And see if you guys can tell me where they're from.
Okay.
Nancy Cartwright.
Simpsons.
That's right.
Yeah.
Next up, Dan Castellaneta.
I'll have to think about that one.
He does Homer Simpson.
Okay.
And the last one's Hank Azaria.
Who's that?
He does Simpsons as well.
Oh my gosh.
He does
We should've known by the
he
second
does,
time
he does,
that
you
he does,
said
he does
Simpsons.
Mo and yeah, like the whole Simpsons cast. I was a big Simpsons fan as a kid, and
That was a huge show, and
yeah.
I feel like I never really got exposed
It's
to
been on
Simpsons.
for
it's
like
still
30
on.
years.
Yeah, I think it's like the longest running maybe
Ever.
Yeah,
I think Disney owns
Almost.
it now too because it's on Disney Plus.
it is. Well,
Yeah.
know
I did not
Fox
know
owned
that.
it originally. Does Disney own Fox
I think
now?
Disney owns Fox.
That could be. I do not
But The
know.
Simpsons is on Disney Plus. I just
Okay.
saw it. Yeah.
Well, if Disney's ever interested in buying this podcast, it's available.
How much do they get?
$20.
paid
They get
for? $20.
I'll take $20. $20. So one thing, I shared the Anime Kansas thing, and I threw out the idea of going and dressing up. I'm trying to get TKG to go.
I would
Sure.
love this.
But what would we go as?
That's
You
the,
have
that's the
so
question.
much time to think about this.
Like it has
I
to be.
do.
It has to be fully covered. Like I don't want to be seen.
Right. You got
Yeah.
to keep the mystery for
Yeah.
both of you.
Yeah.
So like, what suggestions would you have for characters?
Oh my gosh.
Sailor Moon's a little too revealing for me.
It is.
So
it
that's-
is.
can't
I
do
mean,
that.
there
well,
are some
no,
bad guys.
there's
and
other
stuff.
characters
Yeah.
on
Oh, yeah.
Sailor
Oh,
Moon.
yeah.
We
I
just
mean,
can't be Sailor
I
Moon.
want to be Sailor Moon. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no, 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 no. You got you know, you just got to think about it, and you got to look and, you know, get creative. I mean, there are a lot of characters that even, you know, have full on masks and stuff. Or
Okay.
Could I
You
wear
could
like a
wear a
big?
wig,
Could I
you
wear
know?
like a big Kirby outfit? Just covers my whole
you
body.
could, you can the whole bodysuit, man. Yeah, nobody would know.
Could you go as the Beast?
But now you can't go as Kirby because everyone's gonna look for a Kirby now.
Correct.
So
Well, TKG do that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'll
When-
just
when-
say I'm
that's
Wichita
in,
Body
that's in,
B.
Sep- that's in September.
it is. It
Okay.
is. Yeah, definitely. And if you're only gonna go for one day, Saturday's the day to go.
Okay. That's the month before Halloween. Or no, it's 2 months before Halloween. That's a month before Halloween.
Yeah.
They might have
then
some
they'll
Halloween
have some
stuff
Halloween
out by now.
costumes
Yeah,
out by then.
Spirit
Sure.
Halloween might be open by then.
So you did say that you went last year, right?
I did when it was called Shocker Con. Uh-huh.
Are there going to be? I assume there's going to be like some food vendors and things like. I mean, there's going to be some.
At
stuff
that
going
point,
on.
no, but typically, I mean, at that one there wasn't.
Sure.
It was like, you know, it's very first beginnings. But typically at anime conventions, yes, they usually have food trucks and stuff like that. So hopefully, since they'll be at Century 2 and they'll have that, you know, space for it, they
Sure.
will. You know, maybe even I can, you know, send them an email and say, hey, you should probably talk to some of these local food trucks and get them out. You know, yeah,
Absolutely.
people will come out for that.
Do you attend any other conventions like Comic Con? Or
Yes, I have been to Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. Love that one. I did not go this year, but I regretted it. So I'm definitely going to go again. I'm going to go again probably next year. But that's the only Comic Con I've been to, but it's really
Been
great.
to any of the local ones like ICT Comic Con? Or?
I've been meaning to, but they're so small, you know.
Yeah. They had most recent one of the Comic Cons was
you
over at
went,
Century
didn't
too.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
I enjoyed it. It's like nostalgia for me because
Yeah.
I was really into comic books as a kid, and so I go there and it's just a chance to relive your childhood and just see the toys and
It's on my to-do list. Like, and I think I was talking to you before we, you know, got this together that I am wanting to expand and do more local things and get the community more involved. And like that event right there, I could have went and, done some content on that.
Yeah.
So yes, in 2024, absolutely. And even into 2025, I think I'm going to try to go.
And
to
then
all of them.
another comic book shop hosts a convention as well, but I forgot the name of that one.
Before we got on the air, we were talking about X-Men. And we're talking about comics now. What
X-Men
are you
97 's so
guys'
good.
favorite X-Men characters?
Oh man, I've always been a Wolverine stan, but I love
yeah.
Jean too because she is awesome.
Oh yeah, she's
Storm is cool
legit.
too. I mean, Rogue is cool. I mean, oh my gosh, Magneto in the new 97 one. I mean, I just love them all.
What about you?
Mine's a little off the wall. Like, as a kid, I was big into Cable. Does anybody know who that is?
Yeah.
He is Cyclops'
Oh,
dad.
yes.
He was in the New Mutants, and yeah.
So I was hardcore into X-Men growing up. I even had the X-Men cards. I did go to the comic book shops growing up. Originally, probably Cyclops.
Yeah.
I kind of got into Gambit, and
Gambit's
that's
cool.
a weird.
He's got an edge to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his black eyes.
Yeah, I kind of got into Gambit, but you got to love Wolverine, and of course you got to love the movies that they've made since then. I assume you.
So you watched the original cartoon, right?
I'm talking the cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm talking the not PlayStation, but PlayStation.
I think there's like some Super Nintendo games too.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
thinking more Super Nintendo.
Super
yeah.
Nintendo. That's why I want that all-in-one VHS player and TV to play
Is
those
that
console games.
you got to have that?
Well, you don't have
buy
to, but
the
it's
adapters.
just a different vibe when you play it on
A
a
little
little
CRT
TV.
television.
Yeah.
What about the OG Nintendo?
Oh, that one too. That one would be cool too to play on that. Yeah.
Oh man, I was like 5 when
We
that
still have
came
ours
out.
up.
That's awesome because they're kind of hard to find.
I
now.
wasn't 5. I was 65. Sorry about that.
You should check out the new X-Men show though on Disney Plus. They continued on from the old show.
Is it?
And it's
a
brand new
cartoon?
animation. Yes, it's actually airing new episodes every Wednesday, and it's really good.
I'll check it out.
Yes,
I'll check it out.
And it's got the same theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So you're primarily an X-Men fan growing up then?
I did all of the Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about is they would have Spider-Man. I
Spider-Man,
think
yeah.
Fox. You turn on Fox at like 8:00 in the morning until 11:00. Yeah, and you'd have the X-Men and you'd have the Spider-Man.
Are you old enough for Justice League? Do you remember that?
I love Justice League. The Captain Planet too was in that era as well. Absolutely.
Thundercats?
Oh, Thundercats.
Never got into Thundercats.
Transformers? He-Man?
Yeah.
Oh, He-Man has a new show out too, The Masters of the Universe on Netflix, which is good. They got Mark Hamill to play Skeletor. Oh, it's good.
My favorite comic book themed movie growing up as a kid was the original Incredible Hulk series
Oh,
with Lou Ferrigno. You guys ever watch that?
no, I don't think so.
Wait, are we talking cartoon or are we
No,
talking
live action.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
That's like a true classic for any like comic book fans. Like Lou Ferrigno's Hulk. I can't picture anybody else's. Like when who was it? Edward Norton.
Oh yeah, Edward.
yeah.
And when he was doing the Hulk movies, I enjoyed them, but I like the originals more.
Well, I mean, we've done a podcast before about movies, and certain movies have that one line that everybody remembers, and the Incredible Hulk. We all know what that is, don't we? You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
I was gonna say, and he gets all mad and everything.
Hulk smash.
Yeah. So, Brooke, where can people find you online?
I am at Ochibawolf on almost every platform, even Twitch.
Do you want to spell that for people who?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. It's OCHIBA Wolf.
That's WOLF.
Yes.
Okay. Because some people don't know how to spell. I mean,
I love the look that just happened. People listening to this did not just see the look.
it's like they might spell it
TKG
WOOF.
just shot Eddie.
People
We were trying to communicate with our eyes
telepathically.
but he
It worked.
didn't-
I witnessed
I don't know
it.
if it did.
I don't think it did.
Well, he stopped and he just looked at you and he's like, something's going on.
Quick food review since we
Sure.
have you here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get Brooke involved on her
Okay.
first podcast food review.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
before we started, TKG brought some stuff over from Prost over in Revolution on East Central. What'd you bring, TKG? Do you remember?
I brought the Bratwurst Teller, And then I also brought the sauerkraut balls.
which were fantastic.
Did you try all the dishes?
I tried the sausage and the balls, but I've had their sauerkraut before, which is good, and I've had their bread before, which is good.
Did you like the sauerkraut balls or the bratwurst better?
Oh, why make me pick? Why can't it be both?
We're teaching you.
Oh.
This is training right here for.
I'll pick as well. So it's okay if you.
Oh well, you got to go with the sauerkraut balls.
They were
Yeah,
amazing.
they were
down.
excellent. They were
Yeah.
excellent.
It was
Yeah.
my first time. So
What are your favorite? We'll say 3 to 5 restaurants around town.
Ooh, 3 to 5. Okay, I really love Fiorito. That's like every time I go there, it's like,
Excellent spot.
oh my gosh.
yep.
I've never been disappointed yet. Let's put it
Okay.
that way. We keep returning to that one. Another one that I really like, which is a dessert place. I'm really into dessert. I went sober like 5 years ago, and my new indulgence is desserts.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to have dessert all the time. Dessert before dinner, even. I love Frost. Frost is one of my
Another excellent spot. Okay.
Yes. And I know this is a little bit more upscale, but I also thought that this food was just magical. I tried Lottie for the first time
Yeah.
a few weeks
Probably
back.
my new favorite restaurant of last year.
Yeah, and I could not believe how good it was. Like the portions are very small and it's very like high class food, but like, oh my God, it was so good.
Were you able to sit at the chef's table or?
I've heard that that's an option, but no, we
Yeah,
did not.
okay.
So
well, you
what's-
observed it though.
Yes, you know, because you can kind of see everything
Yeah.
there. But like, what's the benefit of sitting at the chef's table just that you watching them cook, right?
Just that you're close, you get to hear the head
Interactions.
chef talk to the sous chefs, and
Just experience the ambiance and
yeah. And I don't know if there's a term of art, but the head chef will bark orders to the sous chef, and then they'll say, "Yes, chef," you know,
So
stuff
it's kind of
like
like dinner
that.
and a show.
not
at that point.
as subservient.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
It's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have to do it. I think we were on a date night the first time,
Yeah.
so you know, we kind of wanted to focus on each other, but that might be good to see.
Well, when I went with Eddie, so we were fine not focusing on each other.
Oh, you guys didn't want to stare each other in the eyes
No,
and
not at
just,
all.
you know,
Not
have
at
a
all.
moment.
Do you ever go to the restaurants dressed up?
Dressed up like in cosplay?
Yeah.
Now I do cosplay, but not often. Like I wouldn't call myself a hardcore
Yeah.
cosplayer, but I think I might have happened before. Like we had just gone to the convention, we were hungry, and I
Yeah.
think this was in Kansas City. I think that might have been Planet Anime. I think I was in cosplay at one point. But no, typically my choice would be no.
Yeah. Of course, if
Oh,
you
it was Planet. I remember now. We actually went to that one. Have you ever been in Kansas City? It's, oh my God. It's like where you have these little pucks and you flip them up and they bring all this meat to you.
Oh, Fogo de Chao?
Yes, it
Yeah.
was that. And I was dressed up as Makoto Kino, which is Sailor Jupiter in Sailor Moon. And her outfit is like very like 90s looking.
Yeah.
And obviously my hair was all done up. And people were like, I really like your outfit. I just felt so out of place because I was not in a modern outfit in
Yeah.
this kind of, you know.
And you were
nice
the
restaurant.
only
The
one.
only one.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, if you did that around Wichita all the time, I feel like you'd become very well known.
Maybe I don't want that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but there are cosplayers that do that. One of my great friends, shout out to Average Asian Cosplay. He will tell you that he loves going to restaurants. He's also a big foodie. He's actually in school to be a chef, and he'll tell you he loves going to restaurants and cosplay and does it all the time.
Sure.
I'm sure like after like the Renaissance Festival, people are always dressed up in their gear.
Oh,
I'm sure
yeah.
they go out to eat afterwards, you know.
After, yeah, definitely.
We all gotta eat.
Yeah.
Definitely.
If I get my Kirby outfit, I'm gonna go check out a restaurant in that outfit and just I wonder if it's like inflatable and it kind of like.
So are we
Focus
actually
on-
going to do this, or are we just are
What,
we
what,
talking
what,
a big
what
talk?
date is the show?
Let's leave it a mystery so people don't, come stalk it.
That's
I gotta
well, we're
make
going to
su-
be in.
We're gonna be in
yeah.
costume, so.
So they may or may not go, but it is going to be September 14th through 15th.
September
Ooh.
4th.
Yes, so you
So
guys got
far-
plenty of time
so
to
far
think.
currently
And also, I
open.
invite everybody who's listening to come out, especially if you're into anime, manga, come out, dress up in your favorite characters if you want to, or just dress up in, your anime drip. It doesn't even have to be a cosplay. Wear your anime t-shirt, whatever.
I would say even if you're not into it, just come hang out.
Yeah.
Experience something new.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's just good vibes, good times. It's really fun. I think y'all should experience an anime convention at least once in your
I
life.
forgot what city I was in. I want to say perhaps Chicago, but I was up there for a work trip, and the hotel next door, I saw there's a huge line of people, and I was like, "That looks interesting. I'm gonna go check it out." Walked across the street, everybody's
Love that.
dressed up, and it was like a big anime fest.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Screw it, I'm buying a ticket. I'm just gonna go inside, just experience it." So I did.
So
and
you've been
Sure.
to one before.
yeah, I don't know the name of it, but it was in Chicago, and I just I enjoy just things that are outside of my realm,
Yeah.
and just
Experience.
seen that, the whole world.
Sure.
There's like,
A whole new
Yeah.
world.
yeah. Hey,
All
best,
Disney.
best Disney movie right there.
Oh yeah, The Little Mermaid, classic.
Okay, I've got a favor to ask. In preparation for this podcast, I did talk to one of the few people I know that's super into anime and Sailor Moon, and this person
Ooh,
asked me a couple of questions
sure.
that this person said I should ask you if I'm able to. Is that possible? It's about Sailor Moon.
Oh yeah.
And your thoughts. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
And you'll know what this means. I kind of do. So if Sailor Moon were to be born again, would you let her soul move on? That's the question.
That's the question. Okay, yeah, because the whole thing is Sailor Moon. She, in her past life, she was the princess of the moon. There was a civilization on the moon in ancient times. So she was born. It got destroyed. She was born again in like the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that's where that question comes from. If she was born again, absolutely. I feel like Sailor Moon, because she's got the silver crystal inside of her. I feel like her soul, her spirit, it just goes on and on and on.
Because this person had said something about her mom letting her be reborn. Was that?
Yes, her mom originally like made her reborn into present times. But I feel like since Sailor Moon, she's got a power, since she is a natural born princess of the moon. She's got the silver crystal inside of her now. Like she's gonna just be reborn forever. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question, and this is probably an easy question, but what do you think about Sailor Moon having to fight in 6-inch stilettos?
I don't think they're that big. If you look up a Sailor Moon picture, I think they're like 3-inch.
3-inch stilettos.
3-inch.
That's got to be hard to fight
I don't
in,
even
though.
think they're stilettos, though. They're more like almost a wedge heel.
So I'm hearing you're good with it.
I am good with it, but is it practical? No. Sailor Mars, which is one of the Sailor Guardians, she is in literal red pumps, and I've tried to run in like a pair of pumps, and it's impossible. I don't know how they do it. Mm-hmm. So,
okay, I've got one more question.
I have a feeling these questions are from you and not from a friend.
No. I know nothing.
Allegedly.
I know nothing.
Allegedly.
First of all, I'm assuming a Sailor Scout is like.
Oh, we're gonna correct you.
Okay.
Okay.
I said a lot of corrections in this episode.
So let me just clarify. So in the 90s, anime was not popular. In fact, it was very, very common. If it did come to, the Western world, they westernized it and erased these cultures. And Sailor Moon is Japanese. So they eat Japanese food. They have Japanese names, etc.
Okay.
And so they basically erased all of that from Western names and Western food and all of that. And at the time, they translated the Sailor Guardian's actual Japanese term is called asenshi, and that typically means soldier. It translated into soldier, so they're technically called the Sailor Soldiers. But when the first dub came out, they decided they're not going to call them soldiers. Oh no, not back in the 90s for a kids show. So they changed it to Scouts. But that's not an actual translation. So in 2014, Sailor Moon got a accurate English dub by Viz Media, and the whole they actually worked closely with the creator, who is Japanese, Naoko Takeuchi, and she wanted to rebrand the English name for Senshi as Guardian. So now we call them Sailor Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah, TKG.
You knew that the whole time.
No, but the thing is, a lot of people don't, people back in the day, it's still nostalgic for them, and it was called Scouts. So I'm not like trying to, tell people they can't call it Scouts, but in today's time, especially with the new dub that we're trying to, get more people to watch and come back into the fandom, we use Guardian now.
I think it's important to be true to history.
Absolutely.
And so I'm
so glad anime has.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore in anime. When they get an English dub now, they do not erase the cultural aspects if they're Japanese or whatever. They keep the original Japanese names or whatever names that they had in the show, and they dub it in English. So anime has had like a huge transformation since the 90s.
So if I was going to be historically accurate, it would be a Sailor Defender or a Sailor Soldier?
Sailor Guardian.
Sailor Guardian.
That's what Toei Animation has agreed on for Sailor Moon these days.
So if you were going to be a Sailor Guardian,
good job, TKG. I'm so proud of you.
Who would you be?
Sailor Jupiter's my girl. That's the green one right here. I
on
always
the back of
cosplay
the
her.
phone?
Yes, I
Okay.
make all my own cosplays. If you guys check out my Instagram, I actually have me in cosplay as Sailor Jupiter, the best Sailor Guardian in my opinion. And I like to do it because I can make my hair look like this exactly. I get to use my
Okay.
real hair. I don't really like wigs. Wigs bother the crap out of me. But also I relate to her in a lot of ways. She's into plants, but she's also into like being strong and, I relate to that. She also loves desserts and to bake, and I am obsessed with cake.
So do these different guardians, do they have different powers
Yes,
or something?
yes, they all have different powers. Yep, and they're all there's one for every planet. So
Okay.
all Sailor Uranus, Sailor Pluto, Sailor Neptune, all of that.
So anime world
Okay.
considers Pluto a planet still.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, and well, actually, back then it was still a planet, and then when the whole thing happened where Pluto was a planet anymore, the Sailor Moon fandom blew up on social media. Poor Pluto,
Yeah.
poor Sailor Pluto.
And they just ignored it.
yeah, basically, yes.
Did it get played in somehow?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
But that's only because there isn't any new content for Sailor Moon. There was a reboot of the anime. So the 90s anime was a thing, and then they rebooted it, which means it's the same story, but more closely related, like following the comic book. So there's a comic
Okay.
book of the anime there's a comic book of Sailor Moon first. That was adapted into an animation in the 90s.
Okay.
But it had a lot of male involvement instead of the female creator. So the male involvement changed a lot of aspects from the actual comic book that the creator had no say in, I think, at the time. So when they rebooted Sailor Moon Crystal, the Sailor Moon anime into Sailor Moon Crystal, and that's what it's called, Crystal Eternal Cosmos, the actual creator was the one who had basically all the control. So it followed the comic book, the manga, much more closely. So it was a little
Female
different.
mango.
Yeah, there you
Female
go.
mango.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
You were onto something
Thank
at the
you, Eddie.
beginning. Yeah. So yeah.
Interesting. So is there ever any rumblings about creating new content?
Yeah, they want her to, but I feel like, I don't know, Naoko is a very bougie woman. I don't know. She actually married, I don't know if you guys know this anime, she married the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho. That's another big popular anime. And I don't know if there will ever be new content, but absolutely the fans want it. Oh yeah.
Sure.
But it was just the same show rehashed, basically, just different.
It struck me, and it should have struck me much sooner, but just as you were talking about how female dominated Sailor Moon is, and I mean that in a completely awesome, positive way, because there's so much male dominated in society. Just, strong women.
We could talk about this all day.
Female creator,
Yes.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
females saving the world or planet or galaxy.
Sailor
or
Moon
whatever it is.
was well beyond its time. I mean, they had LGBTQ plus relationships in it that, back in the 90s, they completely erased over here on the United States side. But the thing is, there is a male kind of like version of Sailor Moon.
did not know that.
It's not just like that, but Dragon Ball Z is Sailor Moon's kind of like male counterpart because it's also owned by Toei Animation. But like it came out around the same time as Sailor Moon did, but it got all of the hype, and it still does today. And Sailor Moon fans are always like, we just want equal. We want, Toei Animation to treat Sailor Moon the same way they treat Dragon Ball Z because it is a male-dominated show, and it's just there's not a lot of equality still today.
Did Sailor Moon come out for? I mean, they
came out in the
close.
90s. They're very, very close. I can't tell you when Dragon Ball Z came out. Sailor Moon came out in 1992. The anime did. But it still doesn't have equal treatment, even though it made the most money in merchandise sales in the 90s.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
History lesson for you.
Yeah. We're still battling it, but Sailor Moon fans, you gotta come out of your shell if you grew up with it in the 90s and watch the new dub and come out to Anime Kansas in September and your Sailor Fukus.
I plan on being there, but all right. Well, we're coming up on time. I can't believe it's already been almost an hour.
This has been fun.
I know, I've learned a lot
little
today.
different,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I've started listening to your guys' podcast, and I don't think you guys haven't had any of this type of discussion yet.
No, and it's
enlightening.
Eddie's podcast, but Eddie
hey.
has asked me.
No,
I-
Eddie is wonderful because he's evolving and he's getting
Trying
a
to.
variety of things, and I think that is really going to help you grow even more. Even though you're like the man.
No, not even close. But I've been seeing your content even before I started following you. I saw it come up on my suggested reels. I'm like who is
Did
this?
you start following me because of the Casey Craft Ramen one?
It might have been.
Because I swear you liked it, and that was like the day. I was like, oh, Wichita by EB noticed
Well,
me?
it came up on my, like this, the suggested videos to watch. It came up and I was like, who is this person? And then I started looking at the videos. I'm like, I think she's from Wichita.
Yep, born and raised. I love Wichita.
Yeah.
I'm a big supporter of ICT.
So yeah, I'm all about, supporting local Wichita content creators, and what you're doing is super cool. It's a niche area that I don't think gets enough love. There's not very many of you out there that cover it, and I want to thank you for taking time to come out
Absolutely.
here.
Thank you so much, both of you.
Yes, thank you.
Remember Anime Kansas, September 13th, 14th?
14th and 15th.
14th and 15th?
14th and 15th,
Century
yes.
2.
Yep.
Tickets are available.
SelecttoSee.com.
I'm going to try to get my butt out there. I'm going to try to bring TKG along with me
I'll go.
in the Kirby outfit.
And
Don't forget to do content, guys. I
what-
want to see that convention from your perspective.
Absolutely.
We'll have-
from the
we'll-
perspective of a full costume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we'll have Trustful Media come and
The little
film for us.
GoPro on your head.
We'll have Love Local come and do
Yeah.
the filming for us.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. We'll
if
talk
we're in
Troy.
costume,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
cool
talk
with
Troy.
that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. Make sure you follow Ochibawolf on Instagram, Twitter.
YouTube.
No TikTok yet?
And TikTok.
Okay.
And TikTok.
No
I'm
Threads?
everywhere.
And then you've got a
Threads.
Facebook.
I do
as
have a
well.
Facebook. Yep, at Ochibawolf there as well.
Okay.
It's mostly centered around Sailor Moon news, though. All my other socials, though, it's all my content,
Awesome.
even food related.
All right. Well, Brooke, like I said, thank you so much.
Thank you. My
Maybe we'll have
pleasure.
to do this again.
Absolutely.
TKG, thank
you
you kind of much.
Yes,
Okay.
kind of much.
Yeah, kind
Thank
of
you.
much. All right. Everybody, thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all the things that are required on these podcast things. I don't even know.
Very
But,
important. Leave a comment, too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, engage. All right. Catch you guys next time.